I know many people who believe that religious people are happier than non-religious people, or atheists, or agnostics, any sort of secular believers or non-believers. Well, I think rather it has no effect on how happy a person is. Religion is just, a set of morals, much like the Bill of Rights, and a person who believes in the Bill of Rights is no more happier than a person who likes to kill. Pretty much, if you were to compare Hitler and say Bill Gates, I doubt one would be happier than the other. I'm sure they're both happy in their own ways. Well, at least until Hitler killed himself and his family. But up till then, I think he was doing what he thinks was right with his own set of morals, and Bill Gates and whoever people we assume to be happy and non-religious are doing what they think is happy, or for them is happy based on their own moral codes. Um, well, I think a person who says that a religious person is happier than a religious person, a non-religious person, is only focusing on the non-religious people who commit suicide, and I think there are much more people who are religious that commit suicide for reasons that because they're unhappy rather than because they want to go to heaven or it's connected. But I was one of these religious people. I think back then that was about only 3 years ago. I was a rather tough Christian. Now I'm an atheist. I went through a change between Christianity, agnosticism, or Christianity to paganism, back to Christianity. I was jumping between those two, but it was more like a pagan Christian thing. It was like a combination to agnosticism and finally to atheism. As people can ask, why not agnosticism? Well, it's not balanced. I mean, we atheists have a predisposition that a God does not exist. A Christian has a predisposition that a Christian God, Yahweh, exists, and agnostics is like totally in between, right in the middle, which they can't say either cases. Well, but atheists don't say a God must not exist. We only say that based on the evidence, he may not exist, but if you provide the evidence, we will believe you. Well, at least if you provide testable and reliable evidence. So, back on topic of why a non-religious person can be just as happy as a religious person. Well, mainly it's because of a person's upbringing. I know this quotes, a religious person, I think it's by Mark Twain, saying a religious person is happier than a non-religious person is no more to the point than saying a drunk man is happier than a sober man. Well, in this case, that's not true because religion has no effect on a person's happiness. Like I said, a religion doesn't even offer a set of moral codes. It's just a bunch of, well, it does offer it, but it's really because the person is able to pick from these moral codes what they want to do. That's why we have people like the Rustboro Baptist Church with this crazy lady. Well, I can't say crazy because, well, technically religion is crazy. Just that there are so many people in it that it's no longer perceived as crazy. But if you were to say a Christian perceives a radical Muslim, then the Christian will call the Muslim crazy, and the Muslim will call the Christian crazy, or vice versa, or any religion. In the U.S., there is more religious tolerance, so we don't really see this problem. But saying, okay, let's get back on topic. If a person is happier as a religious person than a non-religious person, like I already said, happiness comes from our experiences, what a person wants in life, and it doesn't have anything to do with religion. It's totally mutually exclusive from religion. In most cases, for me, it was religion that caused or at least half of my depression. I've always had a rather scientific mind, I guess, even though I'm still in training, more like a Padawan of a Jedi Master. But I mean, I don't believe in Jedis. I don't believe in the Force, unless you have evidence. I mean, if you can prove it, then I'll believe you. But so what was I saying? Okay, so I was saying that, I've always had a scientific mind, and being conditioned to believe in a sort of God without evidence, something that's, if you were born in the U.S., you would most likely be a Christian. If you were born in, ancient Greece, you would most likely believe in Zeus and Apollo. Just something that Richard Dawkins likes to say a lot. But There's equal subjective evidence for every sort of religion, and it didn't make sense. But because I've always been a rational person, and I was raised in a religion in which, in this case, it's like religious existentialism. Religion makes life meaningless, but rather life is naturally meaningless, and it's up to us to interpret and give it meaning. But from my reasoning back then was, if there is a God, then what's the point of living? People say, "Oh, you should not think like that," but why not? I think it's a totally valid question. If there is a God and he is using this life pretty much as a fake dream, it's as fake as your dreams are, then what's the point of living? Why not go directly to heaven and wake yourself up? Well, there's Christians now, and probably it's written in the Bible that if a person kills themselves, they will automatically get sent to hell, which is, I think, is a way back then of stopping people from killing themselves because they know there's a better place. It didn't really stop me much because my church never covered that part, so I was about to kill myself from the depression I used to have. But luckily, I was into science. I finally found a logical view of the world, and I'm much happier now than I was as a Christian. Much, much happier. I don't have suicidal thoughts, and I think this is the rare case where a religion is actually making someone depressed. So it just doesn't make sense. There's no correlation between religion and happiness. And I would think a religious person, because if a religious person, it's the same thing about religious morals. Morals aren't given by religion. It's given by experiences, and experiences allow people to cherry pick which parts or which morals they like in the Bible and throw out the other parts. The Westboro Baptist Church likes to pick the parts of the Bible that are more violent, more against some certain types of people, and most people nowadays like to pick parts of the Bible that are more peaceful, like Jesus's actions versus some people who want to pick war and kill all other races or cultures. But yeah, just two things I'm covering now. Religion has no impact on happiness. In some cases it hinders it, as in in some Muslim countries still now, in some other pre-civilized countries where religion is actually used as a law. I can't say much as a law, as much as people who believe it's the law, so they use it for their own gains. But that's really not any different than saying the Bible itself is used as a law and it's used as a means of destruction. If a person was brought up, say, with the Bill of Rights instead of the Bible, then there wouldn't be this problem of apostasy, of death upon leaving the religion. There won't be much of this segregation, discrimination. People would have more freedoms, in my opinion. But if you have thoughts, post it down below. And this is Nathaniel. I'm in my college dorm. Check it out. This is my roommate's room, or this is my roommate's bed over there. This is my refrigerator down there, and my lamp, my desk. It's like my own cubicle because I got this thing blocking the sides on the left, the wall blocking the right, and another wall behind me blocking what's behind me. So it's like my own closet where I can think and study and do whatever I want. And this is the outside of it. There's his PlayStation, his desk, and yeah. Alright, see you guys. Oh, how do you like my new hair? My sister gave me a haircut the day before I left her college with George Mason University. It's actually a really good college. It moved up 5 places then since I think 2 weeks ago. It used to be ranked 143 nationwide, and now it's 135. And with all the programs, and it's only less than 40 years old, I think. So I think within a few years it'll catch up to Virginia Tech, which is
which dropped 2 places. It's currently at number 71. And VCU, boy, that college is down to 170. But it's if you want to go to VCU, excuse me, you would have to like major something medical. So, yeah. See ya. Oh, post down below if you have any thoughts.